This week we're going to be doing a walk and talk, talking about selecting a surgeon and why I decided to go to Turkey, or Türkiye as it's now officially called. And we'll just dive into all of those things. So Türkiye, some of you might know this because there's a lot of memes on the internet about men getting hair transplants in Türkiye. And the reason why they're doing that is because they're some of the best in the world and because the cost is so much lower. Even with the flights, it's that much lower. Oftentimes, I think people have a misconception that the United States is just the best of the best when it comes to medical care. And I'm not saying that we don't have good or adequate medical care. I'm just saying, I don't know if it's the best, right? It's some of the most expensive. We have some of the most ill people. We certainly spend the most, but we have a really sick population. So probably another conversation for another day. Regardless, yeah, I decided to go to Türkiye. I'm somebody that has lived, I grew up in the United States, but I've lived approximately 3 years in Central America. And at this point, I've lived approximately 3 years in Europe as well. So I think probably more than the average person, I would say that I just feel like a little bit more comfortable with, doing things abroad. I feel really comfortable abroad. So for me, it's not as big of a deal. Yeah, it's just, it's just not as big of a deal for me as I think it might be to other people who maybe haven't traveled internationally or abroad, especially when it comes to medical care, right? Something that you really want to make sure that you are doing your research on. So I selected my surgeon because, I first looked into Türkiye because the procedures there are 30 to 70% less than they are in the United States. That's why you see so many people going there for dental implants. That's why you see so many people going there for hair transplants. Rhinoplasty is a huge one, just procedures overall. So last year they had 1.2 million visitors from Europe alone going over to Türkiye for medical procedures. They have a really high medical standard there. Yeah, I think they just take their medical tourism really seriously. Another reason why so many people are selecting it, really, it's just because the standards are so high and the cost is significantly less. And Türkiye still has like an amazing cost of living, as some places just do, but it's just like a much, much, much more stable country. And truthfully, I'm also really looking forward to visiting Istanbul. Although it's not declared, it's basically a Muslim country. 99% of the people identify as Muslim. The only other Muslim country that I've been to is Bosnia. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to just a really different culture. It's where Europe meets Asia. And so, I'm just kind of looking forward to seeing someplace new. I hear that the food's incredible, and we will definitely be doing a travel blog there. Elmar has been many times, and I think he's been like 4 times, and there might be a tournament there for him the week before. So that would line up perfectly, but we'll just see what happens. So yeah, why I decided to do that. So I am part of the breast implant illness group, breast implant illness healing with Nicole, I think it's called. On Facebook, it's probably one of the largest breast implant illness groups. They have a list of doctors that they recommend. So this doctor is actually not on the list, but there is a woman in that group that went to Türkiye and had a surgery with him. So once I get there, I'll talk about like who the surgeon is and all of that. He is going to be removing the capsule, which is important. And as I mentioned before, we will not be doing a lift or a fat transfer or anything like that. I think at this point, with the goal to be conceiving and having children, that would probably be a waste of money at this point, if I'm being honest. So we'll assess how things are looking and how I'm feeling after that. So this surgeon, they even said when I did an inquiry with them, they said we are certainly not the cheapest clinic here, but it's because the doctor is in such high demand. It's just like, it's a luxury clinic essentially. And it's so crazy. If you do some just like Googling, or if you look around on Instagram of people that have done medical tourism in Türkiye, the facilities are so nice. They are really, really nice. The hospital food's incredible. So I'll tell you a little bit about that. The price of my surgery, my explant with capsule removal, is $5,340. That includes the consultation, that includes the surgery, that includes the anesthesia, which is amazing. And then it also includes 1 night stay in the hospital. And then I have, I believe from there, 3 follow-ups, and I have to stay in the country for the following 8 days. So they will check on me, I believe that Friday, maybe again on Monday, and then just one more time. So there's intermittent checking. I don't know if I'll have drains or not. We'll see. So yeah, that same procedure in the United States, I think it starts around $8,000. So take into consideration that I picked a more expensive clinic and that I have seen breast explant quotes around $8,000 to $16,000. $8,000 is the cheapest I have seen, even in Germany. That's where it starts. So I know you guys are probably thinking like, yeah, but with the flights and everything, it's going to be about the same. So I did pick a more expensive surgeon, like I said. So that is definitely adding to the cost. The flights are going to be really cheap from Germany, so I don't expect to pay more than $300 there. The hotels are also a little bit cheaper in Türkiye. We are opting to stay at one that's a bit nicer, that has outdoor space, just because I don't know how I'm going to be feeling when I am healing. And then, full transparency on top of that, I did look at other procedures, and I will see what the surgeon says, because he really focuses and specializes on rhinoplasty and face. So we'll look into that, because I have thought before about getting a lip lift done, and those procedures in the States are anywhere from like $4,000 to $8,000. If you wanted to do something like a bleph, removing some of the excess eye skin here, I think that's also like $4,000 to $8,000. In there, it's like $2,000, right? So those are prices that you would also see in Central America. I've also inquired there before as well. So the reason why I'm looking into those is because if I stack them, it's obviously going to be cheaper, and I already have the downtime and the recovery with it. But that remains to be seen. I'm still really iffy on that. So we'll see. We'll just see what happens. I'm not committed to anything. I am committed to explanting. So we will just see, if anything else comes of that, and then like what the total ends up being. But you also get like a 15% discount if you add more procedures, because you're already under. So it just ends up being kind of like a win-win for everyone. So yeah, that's actually, I think, it. I'm just really looking forward. We're about 3 weeks out now. I will say I ordered like a couple new dresses, and I put one of them on today, and I was like, oh, this looks really good. And it's very clingy. So it's like high neck, but really clingy. And it looks great. And I was just thinking like, oh, I like how my boobs look in this dress, right? So I know that post-surgery, things are just going to be looking really differently. But, I have still like a lot of my own tissue. And I know that things just look like way different 1 week post-op to 4 to 3 months to 6 months and things like that. And as I mentioned, I'm just reminding myself that things will just be changing so much in the coming years anyway. And I'm always a proponent of plastic surgery, so I'm not ruling out any future procedures, obviously. Next week, I will be having a break in content, because I will be speaking to Vince, owner, CEO of Vital Nutrition, Vital Coaching. He really is leading the way with the OID program, focusing on people's immune systems. And I just don't think it's as straightforward as people think. I think there's a multitude of reasons. I spoke about that in my first video, some of it being genetic, some of it being lifestyle, my competing lifestyle. And just a multitude of factors that probably led me to the position that I'm in today. Just the intricacies of the immune system, things that genes that can express themselves, due to lifestyle, due to my competing and having implants, all of those things. I think that competing was just a really, really big no-no for my body. But, I also believe that the body's incredible. It can heal from so much. And again, just looking forward to taking you guys on this journey. So I will be interviewing Vince next week. And then in the meantime, what will be coming next week is that I will have a video with my client, Sarah, who has lost 25 pounds with me. And we'll just be doing an interview with her. So that'll be the placeholder. I know that some of you have been watching her reverse diet, working on this hill, which isn't that big, but this is like the most I've been able to do in a while because I was so sick when I got here. That's going to be coming next week, is my interview with Sarah. And then after that will be Vince. And then after that, we will either be in Istanbul or on our way. And I will be taking you guys, of course, kind of like just through the surgery, my whole experience, and then the healing and recovery. So let's see how that goes. Okay, well, don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.